bosses have done that.
Yep.
Bosses will do that.
We've
Because
been put
the
in
job,
situations like that.
because the job needs to get done.
Exactly. That's what they're paying you for, right? Paying for you to get the job done.
They're going to hire as many people, go up as much as they can. They're going to do what they can to make sure that company stays afloat.
Yeah.
They're going to sacrifice, because a lot of people, their business is their life. That was plan A, and there wasn't no looking back for them.
Right.
So, think about it. But hopefully that didn't go over your head. Hopefully that was simple enough. And so are they going to go with the assigned or the person with experience, right? And this can depend on the situation.
Yeah.
Now, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from really bad judgment, right? I don't know if people have heard that saying. I actually had never heard that saying. That's why I wrote it down. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Say it again.
When we think about it, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from really bad judgment. Comes from lessons, right?
Yeah. I've never heard it that way.
Yeah, and good judgment comes from experience.
And it makes perfect sense when you think about it like that.
Because you've experienced it, you've went through it, and you've learned the lesson, and now you're not going to make that mistake anymore. And so now, good judgment is there, is created when you take your next steps to elevation at this point.
Yeah.
But if you were on the other side, experience comes from really bad judgment. Yeah, those lessons when you fail.
Right.
When things go wrong. When you are wrong. Right? So, we're all going to make mistakes, and we do have to understand that. I've said this before. We're just going to have to understand that mistakes are going to be made, but a decision got to be made.
Yeah.
Okay? You're gonna fail. Every successful person has failed. Listen to their stories. They write books about it.
Yeah.
Go read their book and see how many times they failed to actually get a win. Right?
People that look like it just happens overnight. It's not just happening overnight. It looks like it's overnight to you.
Right.
It may have taken them 5-10 years to get to that overnight spot, but they just never gave up.
Right.
Okay.
And but living a risk-free life, which is being comfortable.
All right.
You're going to consistently relive the 5th grade. And so this is where I got this
Got that saying.
And this is where you live the 5th grade again. So Dr. Phil has this story of you relive the 5th grade again whenever you basically going through the same cycle of life, right?
Yeah.
Feel like you went through this lesson before, but then you're trying to figure out, why am I going through it again, right? And to be honest, it's because you didn't learn the first time. You know, God not going to put you through nothing again if you already learned it, right? He is here to elevate us and want us to choose to be more elevated, reach our higher selves, live our best lives.
Yeah.
You know, and give him the glory at the end of the story. At the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But by living a risk-free life, being comfortable, you're going to consistently relive the 5th grade again. So, risk-free.
Like a cycle.
Risk-free. I'm not making a choice. Risk-free. I'm not making any choices. I'm being cautious. I'm not even making no choices right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Risk-free. I'm risk-free. So, you kind of want to get uncomfortable. Right? Might want to try uncomfortable a little bit.
Right.
To not constantly relive the 5th grade. Constantly, each year you're doing the same thing. And you're back in the same cycle. Dang, last July you look at pictures from last July and you're like, dang, I'm in the same boat. Actually.
Same cycle. Going through the same cycle. Doing it over and over again.
Right. And so, to get ahead in this life, Dr. Phil says, to get ahead in this life, I have to take risks. I have to believe in myself and be willing to stretch, right? So I have to believe in myself, literally, and willing to stretch. Have an open heart. You know, be open.
Yeah.
You know, to opportunities. Write it down, timeline, create a timeline for it, and create the steps and actually go moving towards the steps, you know, towards those goals, right?
Yeah.
If we're not stagnant, we're all someone different each day of our lives. Each day you might learn a certain information or a certain thing, and it changes your whole mindset. And now you decide that day, you know what, I'm not
gonna go with that anymore. I'm gonna do this and decide to be like this.
Yeah, literally.
Changing your mindset.
Right.
Wanting to switch up who you are and change your reality. Yeah.
Right.
I love it. Yeah.
And so if we're not stagnant, right? And I cannot let fear of failure hold me back. So of course fear is always gonna come up. But we have to fight that sucker to the death of us, right? We just cannot let fear, you know, of failure hold us back. We just cannot let that be the reason.
If you're that scared, do it scared. But still get it done.
Right. Understand sometimes I'm going to win and sometimes I'm going to learn. But I'm always in the game and I'm always driving. Right. Which is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying, when did you stop believing? Ask yourself this, when did you stop believing that you can not create your reality? When did you stop believing that? When you answer yourself that, then that's when you can get back into your creative mode.
Yeah. And
start seeing your future clearly and moving towards those steps towards your future. And slowly but surely leaving the past alone, right?
Yeah. Just reminding yourself to stay present and keep moving towards the future. Not looking back.
Right. And if I don't succeed, I take what I've learned and I stretch again. But never stop reaching or stretching. So just never give up. You know?